So the kidney is king when it comes to regulating our blood pressure. This is the case because our kidneys are, of course, going to decide how much fluid we are going to hold on to or how much fluid we're going to let go. Because of that, this is a great place for us to regulate blood pressure. We have a fairly set amount of space in our blood vessels. How much pressure is exerted on the walls of those vessels is going to, in large part, be due to how much fluid is in them. If we want to increase our blood pressure, we can just simply increase our blood volume, and vice versa. We can get rid of excess fluid and help us lower blood pressures. So the kidneys are a great place for us to start regulating things. Now, what we're going to talk about now is the renin-angiotensin system, or the RAAS system. It's sometimes RAAS, as you'll see here in a second. But it all is going to start with our kidneys. So we have baroreceptors, which, remember, sense pressure. These are going to sense low blood pressure, or they can be stimulated by the sympathetic division. So fight or flight response, we're not worried about getting rid of fluid. We're worried about getting away. We can deal with that stuff later on. So whenever we are stimulated by the sympathetic division, we can kind of shut all this stuff off. But in these cases of detecting low blood pressure, we can say, hey, we don't want to get rid of as much fluid this way. And we want to take in extra fluid. So we can start that whole process by releasing this enzyme called renin. Okay. Now, renin, when it gets released from the kidney, is going to interact with another inactive hormone in the blood called angiotensinogen. Now, the liver is constantly producing angiotensinogen. So angio actually means blood vessels. Tensin, so like raising blood vessels or raising tension in the blood vessels, so raising blood pressure. Well, angiotensinogen is inactive. It's not doing anything as it's just circulating. It only does stuff once it gets interacted with by renin. So renin will come in here and find any of those angiotensinogen molecules, and ogen means it gets turned into something. So in this case, it's going to get turned into the prefix. So it's going to get turned into angiotensinogen 1. Now, the trick here is that angiotensinogen 1 is also still inactive. However, this starts us on a cascade. Okay, so renin is going to turn angiotensinogens into angiotensinogen 1. Now, angiotensinogen 1 will then find another enzyme called ACE. So angiotensin converting enzyme, ACE. Okay. This is found in capillary walls, particularly capillary walls in our lungs. Once again, a great place for kind of dealing with blood pressures, okay, or dealing with fluids and things, okay? Now, these ACE enzymes are going to convert angiotensinogen 1 or angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. Now, angiotensin 2 is the active form of the hormone. Now, you may think, why does it need to go from the kidneys to the lungs? But keep in mind here that our kidneys are going to link pretty closely with our inferior vena cava, and then it will go straight up into the heart, leave the heart, and go right into the lungs. So this is actually a fairly quick pathway. This is not something that has to be diffused around and gets swirled around a whole bunch before it actually gets to go where it needs to go. No, instead, this actually will happen fairly quickly, since the kidneys have those renal veins, which connect into the inferior vena cava and then go straight up to the heart. So this process can actually be happening fairly quickly. Okay. Now, ACE then converts angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2, which is the active form of the hormone. Angiotensin 2 is going to increase blood pressure by doing 3 different things. It is going to cause vasoconstriction. So we're going to take our blood vessels, and over their length, they're going to constrict. So they're going to put additional pressure on that fluid. They're going to restrict flow through them, which is going to, by definition, raise pressures. They're also going to stimulate our thirst center. They're going to say, hey, you need to take in more fluid. So we're now going to have this thirst response that we're going to be dealing with. So like, oh, we are thirsty, we should drink some water. Why? Well, because our blood volumes have gotten a little low. We need to raise our blood pressures. One of the ways that we can do that is increasing the amount of volume of blood. So that means we can increase it by drinking some water. Also, we can increase our blood pressure by decreasing urine formation. That means we're also going to be getting rid of less water. Okay. So vasoconstricting, so close off the blood vessels, raises pressure, stimulating thirst. So we're adding fluid to the system, or potentially adding fluid to the system, but we're trying to do that anyway, which would also raise pressure. And then also decreasing urine formation. So holding on to any water that we have. So all of these things are going to be ways that we can raise blood pressures. Now, if you've heard of ACE inhibitors, One of the ways that people with chronic blood pressure or high blood pressure will try and fix that is by using what they call an ACE inhibitor. This is basically going to inhibit the ability of this particular ACE protein to convert angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2, which means we aren't going to have as much vasoconstriction. So we're going to lower blood pressures. We're going to not have as much decreasing of urine formation. So we're still going to be producing urine. We also won't be thirsty as much, all of which means that we're going to have lower blood pressure. So we're inhibiting the ability of the person to raise their blood pressure as high.